Now, Premier League clubs spent £172 million in the January transfer window. To talk us through these figures compared to the other top European leagues, delighted to say Esteve Calzada, welcome. Let's start by looking, shall we, at the spending this window across Europe in 2016 compared to 2015. Significantly higher in the Premier. Look at La Liga, down 54%, Bundesliga down 47%. Why Premier League a significant increase then?
Obviously, it has to do with the wealth of the competition. It's definitely the strongest league in the world in terms of financial power, plus probably normally the most active in the winter transfer window. In other leagues, this is considered a secondary market, and it's not where you do the biggest investment, but in the Premier League, especially taking into account the power of even the smaller teams, it's an opportunity for the teams to bring better players.
So what we did as well, or what you did, is combined summer and winter spending in 2014 versus 2015-16. Premier League only up 8%, Liga 1 going through the roof, 102%, increase in all 5 divisions. Explain that front for us as well.
Yeah, obviously, I think the biggest news is the record high figure for the Premier League. Let's not forget that the previous year was already a big investment, so over £1 billion. It's a mark that we would never thought that we would see, and it can only continue this way because we have the new TV contracts the coming season. So the difference between the Premier League and the other leagues is bigger and bigger. I would say one of the news is the fact that Serie A is back into investment because of a combination of factors. Milan teams being more wealthy, Juventus, Roma is extremely active in the market, also in the winter. And then obviously we've got other leagues like German league or French league, which are really dominated by a very short number of teams.
So if we look on to talking of teams, the clubs spending the money, 8 out of 10 clubs, their Premier League sides, only 3 in the top half of the table, 1 from the Championship, only Roma there from Europe. And it's interesting, isn't it? It's those teams at the bottom that are spending the money. Why is that?
Yeah, it's again what we were saying about before, is the TV distribution system in the Premier League allows for small teams to have disposable income much higher than some of the top teams in other leagues. So that allows, as you were saying, 3 just promoted teams to be in the top of the table in Europe, normally because they feared, obviously the fear of relegation, and they want to get a better situation in the table, or the case of Newcastle, which is leading the way in Europe, or the fact that we have a championship team in the top 10 in Europe. I think this is really remarkable.
Do other clubs look on, other countries look on with envy then towards the Premier League, and that they can spend this type of money?
Definitely, and actually one of the phrases or sentences by the La Liga president, Mr. Tebas, he keeps on telling, like, we need to work hard because otherwise there is a risk that the Premier League becomes like the NBA of football, right? And actually every league, and in particular La Liga, try to look at what the Premier League is doing, and actually in Spain in particular there's been an impressive growth on TV revenues, but still long way to go to catch up on the Premier League.
So it's a model, is that fair to say? If we look at the top 10 most expensive signings in Europe, again, just one European transfer, that move from Gerson from Fluminense to Roma. Stoke, the highest placed club on that list there. Goodness me, what do you make of that one then? Is that just following on from the theme?
Yeah, exactly, and we're talking the top 2 transfers took place on the deadline day, by the way, and it's not only the ability to bring these players and to spend this money, but also the ability to retain top players. We could say, I mean, we were talking about Everton. Everton has 2 highly demanded players in the marketplace, such as Lukaku or John Stones, and they could definitely sell these players for a big amount of money. So it's not only about your ability or your wealth to bring new players, but also your ability to keep them with you, to offer them contracts which are good enough for them to decide to stay with you.
So from what I'm hearing from you, Esteve, is that the rest of the world, not just Europe, is looking at the Premier League with almost envious eyes and saying this is the model we want. Is that going to improve even more or raise the profile even more when Pep Guardiola arrives next season? Another huge manager coming into the Premier League. He's a man you've worked with before, a man you know well.
I think that Premier League doesn't need additional promotion because it's very well promoted all over the world, and obviously having Guardiola here, which is considered one of the best managers in the world, is only good news for the competition. But again, I mean, Premier League is at a level that is very strong anyway.
But what does it say about the Premier League that this man here, who's done such wonders at Barcelona and Bayern Munich, would choose to come to the Premier League? 20, 30 years ago, that never would have happened, would it?
Well, I would say that, and we work with players, coming to the Premier League is an aspiration for any professional working in football. Players, managers, executives. So for the fact that you can make it happen, it's kind of only good news, and for some people it's like fulfilling a dream. I think now, obviously, we are in the middle of the season yet, so Manchester City is competing for big trophies, and I think the current manager and the team need the biggest support, and there will be plenty of time to talk about Guardiola arrival. And
the same goes for you. I understand, even though you know him well and you have relations there, that the same message is coming from you. Let's leave it till the end of the season. Is that a fair comment?
Yeah, exactly. And again, it's a very intensive season ahead, and with big objectives for all the teams, and let's see what happens.
Okay, Esteve, we'll invite you back when the season's over, and we can talk more about Pep Guardiola. But thank you very much for showing us those figures from across Europe.
Thank you.